Welcome to Guitar Paradiso on Andertons TV. I'm Pete.
I am Mick, and as you can see, we've had a few people moaning that we weren't wearing our shirts.
Yeah, it happened. I'm feeling better now, so I can actually put on clothes by myself.
How are your ribs, by the way?
They're still. It's sore, but I can still feel it clicking a bit inside. But I think what's happened around the rib, this is going to be a bit graphical and maybe not to everybody's likes, so you can fast forward. But basically, what is happening around the rib, all that bruising is going down.
Okay.
Which means that it's not so painful anymore. In certain positions, yes. But those positions we don't need to talk about. So
for anyone catching up, Pete had some broken ribs for the last round of Paradisos that we did. So every time I handed him a guitar, it was
quite funny. It was well, it's not funny when people are in pain. Anyway,
yes. Okay, moving on.
But we've got the shirts on. I've got a haircut thanks to Sam down the crew, just down here on Woodbridge Road. Look at this, sharp.
Nice.
It's good, isn't it?
It is good.
Yeah, he's a good guy. You should check it out. Anyway, we've got some Sterling by Music Man guitars.
Yeah.
in.
Okay. So
Well, you know sort of the story.
well,
and
yeah,
what's-
I know a little bit of the history. So, Music Man guitars. This is a potted history of Music Man, and obviously there's lots of things online you can go and check out. Some of which is anyway. So, Music Man was set up by some people that left Fender, including Leo Fender. And it was originally, the name Music Man was given in 74. There were some rumblings before that, but the reason it didn't happen until 74 and Leo Fender's name was on the door in 75 was because when he sold Fender to CBS in 65, there was a 10-year non-compete clause. Anyway, that's kind of neither here nor there.
Okay. I didn't, but yeah.
What happened next was interesting. The first designs that came out of Music Man were amps. It was an amp.
Yes.
The second design that came out about 3 months ahead of the most famous design, I would say, were these. Or at least that. Or this, the Cutlass or the Stingray.
Cutlass or Stingray.
But it was Leo Fender's first design post Fender, first guitar design.
Yeah.
Anyway, fast forward a little bit, Music Man gets into trouble, financial trouble, and is bought eventually by the Ernie Ball Company in 1984, 10 years later. So obviously since then, Ernie Ball Music Man has gone on to massive success. I mean, colossal success.
Yeah.
With artists including John Petrucci, Steve Lukather, Steve Morse, Albert Lee.
Yeah.
Really,
there was a little Van Halen at some point. Wasn't there?
an association with Eddie Van Halen,
Yeah.
which that changed. But anyway, Van Halen's first departure from his Strat style guitar was with Music Man. So really, really solid and serious guitar playing history. And on top of that, you'll see Music Man guitars being played by Ernie Ball Music Man guitars being played by Bonamassa, by Brad Paisley, by John Mayer. I mean,
yeah.
You know,
they're serious.
Serious guitars made in San Luis Obispo.
And there's a couple
California.
of Petrucci's got his own signature model, which is both the Music Man and the Sterling version of it.
Yeah.
And what's his name? The guy from Maroon 5.
Okay.
He's got one coming out as well. Oh, I should know this, but I can't remember his name.
Yeah, I only know Adam Levine. But
yeah, exactly. But the guitar player, which is a great guy, he's got a signature model coming out as well. Villante or something. Anyway.
That's just guitars. We haven't spoken. I haven't even talked about.
Go on the website. There's loads of them.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, so these guitars make a brief appearance, albeit in same body shapes but slightly different other forms, in the early 80s as kind of the failing Music Man company's last ditch. So, fast forward, 2016. Everything's all rosy in the garden at Ernie Ball Music Man and has been for many years. And at the 2016 NAMM show, Ernie Ball released new versions of the Stingray and the Cutlass in the full price American-made range.
Yeah.
And subsequently, finally we get to the point.
Yeah, the point.
Sterling by Music Man.
And Stingray.
Made in China. More affordable versions thereof, which is what we have here.
Yeah, which a lot of companies do.
Yeah, everyone does it. PRS, Fender.
Exactly. Regrets do the Electromatic series as well, you know. And it's just... But anyway, we should talk about the guitars quickly because when you look at them, they're great. They look just great, man. You know what I mean? They're great looking guitars, great colours. So you got the Cutlass, you've got the Cutlass. They come in various colours, which you can check out on the website. These are, I think it comes in a white. So the Cutlass is this shape. Comes in a white, comes in this blue. It comes in the Fiesta red and a Sunburst.
Which is quite a pinky red.
Yeah, it's a pinky red. I like it.
Lots of people argue about what colour Fiesta should be, but that's definitely
it's kind of pinky,
Salmony Pinkin.
Yeah, Salmony Pinkin.
Do they actually call it Fiesta?
Was that the guy that wrote that book?
Salmony Pinkin. He's my new alter ego. Salmony
Pinkin.
So main differences being the Cutlass, 3 single coils. This one has a basswood body. The American version has an older body.
Yeah.
And the Stingray mahogany body.
Yeah.
And humbuckers.
Yeah. So humbuckers, and these are designed. These are Sterling's own design pickups.
Music Man design pickups.
Yeah. Tremolo, rosewood fingerboard, maple neck.
Everything else is the same. 25.5-inch scale.
Yeah.
Maple neck. You get rosewood fingerboard only on the humbucker guitar, and you get, depending on colour, maple or rosewood.
And you get the locking tuners and the headstock. I really like this headstock. Apparently, the 2 they've got that They've got that covered, haven't they?
Yeah.
That's it. They're the only people that can do that. It's really
I
cool.
remember when
I
the
like it.
Music Man Silhouette guitar first came out,
Yeah.
which would have been 80s, and the guitarist in our band got one. Might have been very early 90s, can't quite remember, but it was around then, late 80s, early 90s. And it was such a cool guitar because the feel of the neck was like nothing I'd ever felt before.
Yeah.
Just really beautifully well considered, just the most fantastically good playing guitar.
Yeah.
And at that time, at that point in history, I think it's fair to say that the equivalent Fenders of the time were, Fender was not in a good place.
No.
And it was difficult to get guitars that played and felt brilliantly, and the Silhouette just really kicked. It was such a beautifully made high-end guitar.
Yeah.
And that remains my kind of memory. And ever since then, of course, all the different Ernie Ball guitars that have come out, if there's one thing you can say about Ernie Ball guitars, they always feel awesome.
Yeah. And the neck is it's kind of a V kind of, but it's got this. It kind of goes
Asymmetric.
Asymmetric. Kind of. It's very difficult to see. But
being from Daneland, Pete, and not speaking your
speaking
your native tongue,
it's my ninth language.
Do you know Donald
English.
Trump would totally kick you out of of America?
We just keep having goes at him. Anyway, and you.
Yeah. Anyway,
let's not. So it feels really lovely. It's like a satin finish neck.
Yeah.
And it's got this 5. It's got a little.
Oh yeah, 5 bolt.
5 bolts, and it's kind of but it feels right. It's not too much. It doesn't take anything away from that bit. It's got your tremolo, so they all got the tremolo system on.
Yeah.
In the back there.
2-point tremolo, which is interesting because I'll be honest and say I'm no fan of 2-point tremolos when they sit off the body.
Okay, when it's
when it's floating.
Yeah.
Because I think you just lose. You lose a lot of.
This is kind of
sat on the body. The front edge of the bridge is sat on the body.
Yeah.
And I believe that's important for these kind of guitars.
Yeah.
So.
But it seems to work. If you can, there is tricks to set your tremolo system up so it's floating whichever kind of bridge you have, and there's lots of YouTube videos of it. Anyway, we should have some tones.
It might just be slightly off, but anyway, there's a lot of that bridge plate in contact with the the top of the guitar.
Yeah, we should have some tones.
Yeah, let's do that. We've yacked enough. What else? So final thing, 12-inch radius fingerboard. So it's a Gibson type radius on the fingerboard.
Yeah. Feels really nice.
Which will appeal to people who don't like curvy
Things.
radius boards.
Click in there. Right, so you are in a Fender Bassman 15 watt. I am in a JTM45.
I am, and I'm just going to turn my master volume up a little bit because when we played our little opening jam there, the core tone was a bit quiet. So there you go.
Good. Right, so let's have some tones. You start on your Salmon Rushdie.
On my Salman Rushdie. Do you know what? I think during the opening jam, my tone knob might have been rolled down a bit. But
oh, right. Well,
anyway,
so when you look at that,
right.
actually, it's got, just quickly, 1 tone, 1 volume, 5-way switch.
Yeah.
Easy. Easy.
Easy. Right, so
Just want to mention that.
let's start on the. So I'm into the Fender Bassbreaker 15, and this is the neck pickup. Fairly recognisable set of pickup selections there.
Yeah,
completely passive pickups, should say, vintage inspired.
And the American one has got a buffered output, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's got a 9-volt battery and does a buffered output, which also does hum cancelling. Yeah. This is just more straightforward.
Which is all that stuff, of course, costs money in the final, in the whole thing.
Yeah.
So you have to give away some things anyway. I like passive stuff. So I'm plugged into the JTM45, and here's Mick's favourite chord. That's very fat.
So what's interesting about with the maple fingerboard there, and the fact that the Marshall's got a bit more mid scoop.
Yeah.
What you get is much more of the sort of stratty nature of the guitar.
You do actually, don't you?
More. You were in the in position.
So
just play that again. That sort of funky thing you were playing.
is that set to clean? Because it's got 3
Yeah,
settings.
it's
Yeah,
the,
you got
the front end's
yeah,
pushed.
Yeah, exactly. This is more clean, you know, so you get the... There you go. Well, you know.
There you go.
Anyway, so let's just quickly run the pickups. Nice.
That bridge pickup sounds like it's got a little bit more wind on it to me.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
maybe it has. The specs are not completely clear on the website. It just
Yeah, a
says
little fatter.
vintage kind of.
Which is what
you know,
you
they're
want.
on. Yeah, exactly.
And the
So-
tone control permanently on the bridge control, which is great when you have a bit of overdrive.
which you like.
Well, yeah, so if you're... I've got JHS AT on the floor here, which is the Andy
We
Timmons
like it.
version of the Angry Charlie. So quite an aggressive pedal. Here's the bridge pickup without a pedal, and then I'll switch the pedal on.
Tone for days in there.
It just... Some Strat style guitars don't have the tone control connected to the bridge pickup, but I just think it's such a
It's great, isn't
sensible
it?
thing to
Yeah,
do.
exactly. So
Yeah.
top marks for that. Okay, let me just. I've got a. I found my old Gristle King T-Rex in the cupboard because I just moved, and it's a great pedal. It sounds like this. Nice.
That's cool.
Just like a really fat. It's got this. It says Grizzle and it says more, so you got a boost that you can put pre or post. So I know you can't get these anymore, but if you know, they don't make them anymore. But it's great. But anyway, I just found it, plugged it in, and thought it was great. It makes you be great cock, doesn't it?
It's a really cool sound. Actually, Pete and I were talking just while we were discussing what we were going to talk about in the video, and it's really interesting because that maple fretboard and a Marshall style amp gives you that glassy top, and people a lot of people really love that sound, and especially when you put a bit of overdrive on it. It's almost the opposite approach to the Rosewood board, the more mid-pushed amp.
Yeah. Completely.
For a different thing. So again.
Anyway, we should move on, really, shouldn't we?
Yeah, we should, but I think,
to the other guitars.
Nice
what do you think?
Nice to have the option.
Yeah, exactly.
Of the,
and the different colour combinations as well. So it looks really cool in the sunburst. That looks really nice. Black, white, this, that. Go on the website. Links below. Oh, hang on. Let me just see that back. Look, oh, back. Look. Same colour. It's not just a black one. It's the same as the front scratch plate. I like that. That's a nice little detail, isn't it?
He loves details.
I like details. You know, it's really nice to see details in things, even when they are affordable stuff.
What Pete was talking about was that the the trem cavity and the switch cavity there are also a tortoise shell.
Yeah. See?
Same as the front there.
You don't have to do that, but it's just a little thing that makes, that I like that sort of stuff. You know what I mean? It makes me happy. Look.
He loves that stuff. Right, so moving on. Stingray. So instead of basswood bodies, we have mahogany bodies.
Yeah,
And
African mahogany, I think. But
instead of single coils, we've got humbuckers.
yeah, vintage shaped.
Yep. And rosewood fingerboard only, and those are the main differences.
Yeah.
So you can expect with a mahogany body and humbuckers are slightly more.
Yeah, it's the guitar. The body is a different shape, so it's a little bit. It's a bit more. It's a bit more substantial.
Is it a
isn't
different
it?
shape?
Yeah, it's a different shape.
Oh yeah, it's kind of more
See?
offset, is it?
Yeah, it's kind of more. It's got this bit down here, a bit like a jack.
Is
or.
Oh yeah, it is.
And
yes.
I just want to mention really a quick thing. The neck adjustment
Yes.
is here, which is a really, really cool thing,
Yeah.
because you don't have to get the plate off, you don't have to do anything, you don't have to go in here with the thing, you know,
Yeah.
it doesn't fit. It's just this little thing
Yeah.
here. When you comes with the tools for this and for that and for this, you can stick it in, turn it around. Awesome.
Yeah.
So if you need to do that, you know, for any reason. Anyway, let's have some tones.
Okay, so humbuckers, same amp, same settings as it was
Yeah.
with the Cutlass, and well, anyway.
Wow.
Pushing that amp into way more overdrive than,
Yeah.
than the single coil, so quite beefy humbuckers, I
Yeah,
would imagine.
they are. It's a like Vincent inspired thing, isn't it? So, and you've got a tone control, volume, three-way selector,
Yeah, take me,
bowl selector. Yeah, you have to.
take me a little minute
I was
just to get used
I was
to
going
that.
like that
Yeah,
earlier,
well,
so
you
it goes that way instead of up and down. But I'm sure
You can-
if you're so declined, you can turn it.
Yeah, you can probably tell.
Yeah. So let's have some Marshall clean. Middle position. Back position. Nice. Overdrive. Nothing wrong with that at all, is there? Wow, it's just they're great, aren't they?
It's quite cool. I tell you, as a matter of opinion,
Yeah.
what I find interesting is obviously if you've got a mahogany body and humbuckers.
Yeah.
Being a fan of traditional guitars, my head is in a Gibson-y type space, but of course we've got a more Fender-derived layout with the double cutaway, the maple neck. So it kind of puts you in this strange place,
Middle sort of thing.
Yeah, which I really like.
Yeah,
you know,
it's really cool, and it sits really nicely. It's not. Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, you definitely
It's
get
not-
that sort of mid push of mahogany, and then whack a humbucker in that. It's a great. I would say it's a great alternative as a kind of thicker sounding take on that blueprint.
And also it's. I'm not quite sure what the price is going to be yet, but they're going to be really reasonable.
It's mid-price, isn't it?
Mid-price. It's going to be less. It's going to be around 500 quid, I think.
Yeah, made in China, but
made in China, but still, they go to.
Little sticker on the thing says all instruments inspected, Orange County, USA, set up and shipped from. So they're made in China. They get shipped to the US. They get set up and inspected, and then they get shipped from the US.
Yeah, which is great.
Well, yeah.
There's nothing wrong with these, are there? I do like them. I can see myself playing one of these.
Yeah, take me a little minute to get used to this, but I like the mahogany body and all the rest of it.
Yeah,
I think it pushes really well.
Great. Well, guys, that was one more thing.
Just one final note on the necks as well. If you're fed up of thickly lacquered sticky necks.
Yeah.
That are kind of difficult and uncomfortable to play. Go and play Music Man guitar tomorrow. This one actually feels a little bit more asymmetric than that one. I don't know if that is the case or not, but that satin finish, it's a good feeling thing.
Yeah, these ones feel a bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah, these feel a bit more asymmetrical.
Yeah, this one definitely is. I mean, you can see. You can see where the curve is. Yeah. Anyway,
that's
the idea of an asymmetric neck, by the way, is obviously if you're a gripper like
not that kind of gripper.
This part of your hand is the emptiest bit, so it puts more of the meat of the neck in this bit and less here.
Yeah.
Where
which makes complete sense.
Yeah, it does. But if you
go for it like that,
which
you see it just sits in.
I guess if you do that.
Yeah, but then
whoever does that.
Well, I used to look.
It matters less.
My thumb is so weird.
Really? Well, you did that.
Look at the difference. Because that goes on the back of the neck.
Really? So you learn like that?
So, yeah, because every time I did that, somebody would go, take
really?
his arm down. Yeah.
No way, man. The thumb
is
for this.
Yes, I know that, and I realised that later on. Of course, the thumb is It's not just for that.
It's for the F sharp in the D chord. That's what it's for.
Not just for that. Anyway, but that's basically when you train classically and you play classical guitars, you have your thumb on the back of the neck all the time.
Oh, okay.
So that's that one there, that grip.
Yeah. Oh. Complete anathema to me.
Anyway, yeah, but it's all the technique how you do it. Kids, just do however you want it. You want to play guitar, you're gonna get it. It's gonna be great. Fabulous.
Asymmetric.
Yeah, and it's great. It feels right. Okay, good. So, Sterling by Music Man. There's a whole range. These are just the Cutlass and the Stingray. There's other ones. So go on the website and have a look. There's basses as well, all that sort of stuff, which I'm sure they'll do over on All About the Bass at some point. I think we need to play out, don't we?
Why not?
Why not? Let's have a stuff. Let's have a jam. Because I need some more coffee. Yes. Anyway, Sterling by Music Man, Cutlass, Stingray. I was Pete.
I was Mick.
See you next time.
Cheerio.